years ago, you said he's strong, he's vicious, he's tough. Like you kind of are like, he's got that part about him. What can you tell us about Barron from your point of view?
Well, he's very.
Before we get into this wild saga, quick thing. If you're watching this right now, drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. And if you're into deep dive political drama told like a real life movie, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next chapter. All right, let's talk about how one quiet Sunday interview turned into the biggest storm the Trump family has faced all year. Barron Trump grew up behind gates, walls, and a silent understanding. Stay private, stay untouched, stay out of the mess. No interviews, no speeches, no sudden appearances. In a family built on spectacle, he was the ghost, the one name reporters kept out of their mouths. Until Jasmine Crockett decided she was done tiptoeing. It happened on Capitol View, calm set, polite lighting, the usual roundtable chatter about ethics and campaign money. Crockett sat still, listening, doing that thing she does, where she keeps score without saying a word. Then she leaned in, eyes sharp. "I just find it interesting," she said, "that no one wants to discuss the trust realignment from January 2021.
I mean, this is also a guy who seemingly doesn't really necessarily care if somebody engages in these types of activities. So I know he's got something to hide. That's the only reason it's not out there. If this had anything to do with Democrats, baby, it would have been."
Especially the part with Barron Trump's name on it. The host stopped mid-nod. One panelist blinked like he misheard her. Someone behind the camera whispered, "Did she just—" She kept going. People act confused, like they don't see it. But I do. And the only reason this hasn't hit headlines is because of his last name. If it were anyone else, it would have been front page before sunrise. Producers panic and cut to commercial. But it was too late. That clip exploded across the internet like dry grass catching fire. Millions of views, millions of questions, and suddenly the quietest Trump had become the loudest topic. Why? Because Crockett wasn't speaking off the cuff. She knew something. A week earlier, someone dropped a manila envelope on her desk. No note, no fingerprints, just one document, a trust modification dated January 12th, 2021. 8 days before Trump left office. Beneficiary? Added. Barron William Trump. For Crockett, who practiced law long before she was ever a politician, this wasn't a coincidence. It looked surgical. Her staff warned her not to say anything. People will say you're dragging a kid. People will twist your words. This family doesn't fight soft. Crockett's answer was simple. He's not a child in a stroller. He's 20. They used his name, so we're going to talk about it. And so she did. While the internet tore itself apart, Barron was nowhere near the political chaos. He was sitting at a small cafe in Sarasota, flipping through next semester's course list. His phone buzzed once, twice, then nonstop. A friend texted, "Bro, Crockett just said your name on TV." He watched the clip in silence. Then he replayed it. And replayed it again. He didn't look angry. He looked confused. Like someone just handed him a puzzle missing half the pieces. At home, things were different. Melania paced across the living room. "I told your father not to use your name in those filings," she said. Barron stared at her. "So it's true?" She hesitated, just long enough to answer without words. "Probably." That broke something in him. Not loud, not dramatic, just a quiet sting that hits harder than yelling. Meanwhile, hundreds of miles away, Mar-a-Lago was boiling. Trump slammed the remote on the table. "Why is she talking about Barron?" Ivanka stepped in, calmer. "The networks are already digging." Trump brushed her off. "There's nothing illegal." She gave him a look. "Legal doesn't matter. Optics do." Melania entered with the final blow. He didn't know, and now he feels betrayed. Even Trump went silent at that. But the story didn't stay contained. Online sleuths started digging. A researcher found something buried under layers of Delaware filings. BW Legacy Holdings. Filed January 12, 2021. Beneficiary? BWT. Barron William Trump. He posted the screenshot. It spread like wildfire. Barron saw it at midnight. His own initials trending. His own name attached to something he never signed. To the world, silence looked like guilt, so he finally broke it. Not with a press conference, not on Fox or CNN. He reached out to an old classmate with a small YouTube channel, someone who knew him as a person, not a headline. Sitting under soft room lighting, he finally spoke. I never signed anything. I didn't know. If they want to hand me something at 30, that's fine, but don't use my name like I agreed. I didn't. He paused. It's weird hearing people talk about me like I'm either a monster or a victim. I'm not either. I'm just trying to have a normal life. That clip went viral in minutes. The hashtag #LetBarron trended for a whole day. And suddenly, by saying nothing for years, Barron Trump became the only one people wanted to hear from. Crockett wasn't spared the heat either. From her kitchen table, she posted a calm, direct video. If a name was used, we're allowed to ask why. That's not an attack. That's accountability. Some called her brave. Others called her reckless. But before she could even respond to the noise, another envelope appeared on her desk. No return address, no fingerprints, just a single sheet of paper with 4 chilling words. Custodial override, adult minor clause. She read it twice. Her staff read it 3 times. This wasn't noise. This wasn't gossip. This was someone on the inside feeding her more. And somewhere in Florida, Barron sat alone in his room scrolling through the chaos. His name, his initials, documents he never touched, decisions he never made. For the first time in his life, he wasn't silent because he wanted to be. He was silent because he didn't know who to trust. Meanwhile, Crockett stared at that new document like it was a key to something bigger. Because if one trust had his name, how many others did? And if someone was willing to send her more, this wasn't a mistake. This was a pattern. A pattern worth blowing open. So, here we are. A congresswoman who refuses to let powerful names hide behind paperwork, a young man realizing his life has been used like a chess piece, and a political dynasty facing a storm they didn't see coming. This saga isn't ending. It's just getting louder, because secrets stay quiet until the wrong person finally asks the right question.
I mean, this is also a guy who seemingly doesn't really necessarily care if somebody engages in these types of activities. So I know he's got something to hide. That's the only reason it's not out there. If this had anything to do with Democrats, baby, it would have been